The original post was posted to Relationship Advice a month ago, and it says, "What are my next steps after I found my wife in a compromising position with my friend?" This is not a clear-cut cheating story, so I'm truly at a loss. My wife and I have been married for 15 plus years with kids. About 2 years ago, we started hanging out with this couple that we met through school. We've gotten really close. I consider the guy my friend, and my wife hangs out with the wife. When the four of us hang out with our families, there's usually a good amount of alcohol involved. The event in question happened last night, right before Mother's Day, and I still haven't digested it yet. We were hanging out with the other couple, just as usual, when my wife went into the kitchen with the other husband to refill their drinks. I had mostly a full glass, and I was pretty comfy on the couch, still talking to the other wife, when I decided to go into the kitchen for whatever reason. When I got to the kitchen, I saw my wife with her back leaning against the wall, laughing, and the husband leaning over her with his mouth really close to her neck, almost like kissing her or something. They were both pretty drunk. Immediately, I screamed, "What is going on?" They both jumped apart, shocked, and were looking at me. My wife kept saying she could explain. It was like something out of a really bad Lifetime movie. We were all talking over each other, and then I started heading out to the car, grabbing the kids on the way. I was about to leave her there, but then she climbed in the passenger seat. I wasn't about to kick her out of the car with the kids sitting in the back seat, so we ended up just driving home in complete silence. When we got home, my wife started crying. She told me that this is what happened. Weeks ago, he started doing random small things to her when we all hung out. If me and his wife's back were turned, he would grab her or touch her hair. The most they spoke about it was that she would say he should really stop doing those things, but then kept letting him or finding ways to be alone momentarily with him. She claims that they never communicated by text or phone call, they never met up, and they never even kissed. In retrospect, I do think that she was subtly flirting with him, but I thought at the time it was just like the usual gentle teasing that we would all kind of do as friends, nothing serious. I asked her if they were going to kiss that night had I not walked in, and she said she's not sure, but she may have let him. She says she's not even physically attracted to him, but she enjoyed the validation that she got from him putting the moves on her. She does have a long history of requiring reassurance that she's attractive and that I'm still into her. She immediately let me have her phone and search through it. I didn't find any text between them. I asked her then if this would have led to sex, and she adamantly said no. The worst thing was that when I asked her if she fantasized about him when she was with me or if she was alone, she said no to thinking about him when she was with me, but that she would occasionally think about him when she was alone. Needless to say, I'm cutting off all contact with my friend. I told my wife I'm thinking about divorce. She begged me to reconsider. She's telling me we'll go to counseling, I can track her location, all the things. But this really sucks. I don't know if I can get past this betrayal. I don't know how I can trust her again. And I also don't know how I can leave what I thought was an amazing marriage and give our kids a broken home without attempting to try to work through this. I can't talk to any of my friends or family about this because it makes me sick. I feel embarrassed that I let this happen. It's been hard pretending to be happy on Mother's Day just for the sake of our kids. I can't concentrate at work. At home, my wife just cries all the time. What do I do? There is an update. So the update was about 2 weeks ago. And it says, "Sorry, it's taken me a while to get back to this, but I've been really busy, as you can imagine. I appreciate all the support and all the advice for this difficult situation. Shortly after the original post, I did reach out to the other wife, asking if we can meet in person or at least talk on the phone to see if the stories matched. She pretty much responded with a version of, 'We're planning on moving forward as a family, and talking about it with you would not be conducive to that process for us.' She wished me peace and some BS, and then blocked both of us. I know there's other ways to contact them, but I'm just not going to press it. We decided to start marriage counseling, and we have an appointment set up this week. I also finally convinced my wife to get therapy for her issues as well, but her appointment is until later in June. She's still being transparent, and then whenever I question her about anything, she answers. She's still maintaining that all she ever did was flirt, and there was like a few touches here and there while we were all hanging out, but she would have never met up with him outside of that. She said that she enjoyed the thrill of being found desirable by somebody that was taboo. It got to her head. I looked through her phone many times, again more thoroughly. And I didn't find any deleted texts, apps, etc. I even looked up websites on how to catch cheating on phones and followed their advice on how to search. I hate to disappoint most of you who commented, but I'm trying to give her this benefit and move forward with our marriage for now. She's been an amazing wife otherwise. I do know that maybe I'll never have 100% of the truth. I'm not an idiot. I don't trust her fully, but maybe one day I can get there. Here's the tricky part. Our kids are in the same elementary school as theirs, and my wife is involved in the PTA. So there's a guarantee that we will run into this family. It's actually pretty surreal to go from being such good friends to no contact. My wife has begged me not to divulge any of this to anyone at the school or mutual friends, as she doesn't want our kids to lose friends or our family to be stigmatized. I do see her point about that, but I did follow your advice and I spoke to a couple of my best friends from before all this transpired. They were shocked that she would do this, but they were supportive when I told them I was trying to forgive her. I'm thinking about getting a therapist though. I still don't want to tell anyone in my family because they can keep grudges and would use this against her forever. Finally, I'm sorry I made the original post to make it seem like we were alcoholics. It's really not the case. We would get together maybe like 2 or 3 times a month, and that was our main social drinking outlet. We would maybe have like 3 to 4 drinks, and then that was it. Except for the one who was a DD. I just mentioned it to give some context to the story. Thank you again for the comments. It was helpful to have a place to go initially for this stuff before I was ready to talk to people. It still feels like my life has turned upside down, and I'm hoping that it was all a bad dream, but I think I've accepted it better for now. So there's obviously a lot to unpack here. First of all, I do want to say I am glad that they're mentioning that they don't want to talk to anybody because they're worried about the kids. I think that's a really valid point, to not talk to your friends about it, at least your friends who maybe go to the school or know people who go to the school, because gossip, it'll spread so quickly, so fast. And just because there's children involved, you don't really want to be bringing kids into your marital problems. You don't want your kids to be known as, you know, the kids with cheating parents or whatever it is that may happen. You know how kids are. Kids can be absolutely ruthless. Also, the fact that she mentioned that she fantasizes about this guy when she's alone, and that if her husband didn't walk in, they might have kissed or whatever. That's like a slap in the face to me. I mean, the whole thing is a slap in the face. Also, it was really weird that the other wife just completely shut him down when the OP was trying to contact her and get more information, and she just said, "No, sorry, I just want to move on with my marriage." Block. That would be so incredibly frustrating to me. I hate not knowing. I hate not having answers to things. I can't believe it. That would absolutely just turn my world upside down. Just all the trust, just out the window. Just like that. That's insane.